I am the Namer, guardian of the names of power. Before your world even existed, my people were an ancient race. Now they are gone, and only I remain, keeper of my people's history. Across the endless tracts of space have I traveled, to return to the planet of my birth, Zoidstar. Though my people perished long ago, and their cities were buried by the shifting sands, the machines remain. It is these that have brought me here to perform the last act of the Zoidarian race, the giving of the names of power. When my race was young and had an interest in the affairs of the galaxy, they built the machines, mighty engines of destruction which gave the power of life and death over the other creatures in the galaxy. The Zoidarians turned their gaze outward and laid waste to 1,000 star systems with their machines, their Zoids. But ruling a galaxy was not enough for the Zoidarians. It was not the conquests, but the battles they enjoyed. And though all intelligent life trembled in the shadow of the Zoids, my people battled on, machine against machine, Zoidarian against Zoidarian, in the further pursuit of glory. Zoidarian lives were needlessly sacrificed to the god of battle, and the race dwindled in numbers until the elders outlawed the Zoid duels. But they couldn't outlaw the Zoidarian love of combat. The Zoidarian pilots of the giant war machines were replaced by androids, and thus the heroic combat could continue without threat to Zoidarian life. Too late came the order. Too late to save a once mighty race from extinction, and now only I remain. Only I and the Zoids. And though my people created the Zoids, I have no power to control them. For the war machines have become the living embodiment of the Zoidarian thirst for combat, with lives and wills of their own. They exist only to fight, to ensure that their heroic combat lasts for all eternity. Now I stand on the sand-blasted surface of a world I used to call home, high on a rock, scanning the horizon for some sign of movement, knowing that out there, behind the sand clouds, lurk the deadliest war machines in the universe. It begins!
The Cinnabus combat Zoids model and dawn saber tigers with mouth-stored falchions. Fear the war machines of iron and steel. Helicopter, their target for the kill. But to combat the helic shield liker, we must now upgrade the saber tiger. Black metal armor and red circuitry. Greatsabres prepares for their killing spree. Greatsabres, we went to battle to fight. Greatsabres, black armor and red eyesight. Greatsabres, assault to hit a sword might. Greatsabres, embodies and a boss bite. Then the Greatsabres meets the helic match. The shield lickers Mark II from the new batch. With white armor and twin beak cannons gold. Greatsabres and shield lickers Mark II bold. Never's Empire fights helic republic. Zoid tigers fight Zoid lickers in the thick. Greatsabres strike with silver fangs and claws, while shield lickers Mark II rips tears and roars. Greatsabres, leap into battle to fight. Greatsabres, black armor and red eyesight. Greatsabres, assault to knit and Zoid might. Greatsabres, embodies and a boss fight. Greatsabres, leap into battle to fight. Greatsabres, black armor and red eyesight. Greatsabres, assault to knit and Zoid might. Greatsabres, embodies and a boss fight. Greatsabres, leap into eyesight. Greatsabres, assault unit and Zoid might. Greatsabres, embody set a boss fight. Then the Greatsabres meets the Helic match. The shield lickers Mark II from the new batch. With white armor, twimpy cannons gold. Greatsabres, shield lickers Mark II bold. T-Nebus Empire fights Helic Republic. Zoid Tigers fight Zoid lickers in the thick. Greatsabres strike with silver fangs and claws, while shield lickers Mark II rips tears and rolls. And road.
Once was a time full of wonder, without war, hate, and enemy. Now you can sense rolling thunder and the magic that's no longer free. In the night I feel them calling from far beyond the sea. Soon comes the time of destruction, when the war began to rise. Weapons with molten wonder before war began to rise.
Command needs Saber slush a new red mutant Zoid fleets Hellish spawn a red scavenger and croc Black cyber smilodon Zoid stalks the dark And mighty Zoidzilla's command he leads Saber slush a new red mutant Zoid fleets Hellish spawn a red scavenger and croc Black cyber smilodon Zoid stalks the dark Saber, run and hunt, red Zoids at high speed Fighting red mutants is his creed Crush united Zoid skirts no rest Black steel smilodon pass the test With cannons in tow the Saber now hunts Stalking with steel growls, brush roars and bronze grunts Search to find clock Zoids where they may be Loyal to mighty Zoidzillas decree Fire the lasers and shoot the beams But Zabre is ambushed as cannon screams Hellcats make attack but there's no retreat Zabre wins the fight, his mission complete Zabre! Run and hunt red Zoids at high speed Fighting red mutants is his creed Zabre! Crush united Zoids, there's no rest Black steel smilodon pass the test With the losses cut, Zabre reports Back to mighty Zoidzilla's new retorts So Croc's red Zoids being built in mass His galactic reign must not come to pass Saber, run and hunt red Zoids at high speed Fighting red mutants is his creed Saber, crush united Zoids, there's no rest Black steel smilodon pass the test Run and hunt red Zoids at high speed Fighting red mutants is his creed Saber, crush united Zoids, there's no rest Black steel smilodon pass the test Cannons in tow, the Zabre now hunts Stalking with steel growls, flash roars and bronze grunts So search to find crotch Zoids where they may be Loyal to mighty Zoidzilla's decree In warfire the lasers and shoot the beams But Zabre is ambushed as killers new retorts So crotch red Zoids being built en masse His galactic reign must not come to pass Zabre, run and hunt red Zoids at high speed Fighting red mutants is his creed Crush united Zoids, scourge no less Black steel smilodon pass the test With the losses cut Zabre reports Back to mighty Zoidzilla's new retort So Croc's red Zoids being built en masse His galactic reign must not come to pass With the galactic reign must not come to pass
It is the never-ending battle between red and blue Zoids. It has been waged for centuries. It rages still, with no end in sight.
I, the Namer, last of the Zoidarians, guardian of the names of power, keeper of the legend of heroic combat, have spoken.